Today we're going to be doing a pre-trip inspection on a 2007 Freightliner Columbia. It's 61 feet long, it's 13 feet 6 inches high, it has a Cat C13 engine, and it has an Eaton Fuller 10-speed transmission. We're always going to start the pre-trip inspection. You're going to notice that the tire is turned to the right, the lights are on, and our four-ways are flashing. When you start your pre-trip, it's always going to be the same way. From right here, you're going to do your 3 L's. You're going to have your lights, leaning, and leaks. All the lights are on. They're all of proper color. The lights are not damaged, cracked, or broken, and they're in good working condition. The truck itself is not leaning side to side, indicating bad suspension or a low tire. Then we'll look underneath the truck, and there is no apparent leaks. That's all you have to say on the front of this. Then we're going to unlatch both sides of the truck, which I already unlatched this side. I'll unlatch this side, and then we'll open the hood. Always prop your foot here, grab with 2 hands, and now it's time to do the engine compartment. Always start on the driver's side. We'll always start high, so you'll start with the windshield wiper blade. It's properly against the windshield, it's not brittle or damaged, the arm is properly attached, and it's in good working condition. Then we'll drop down and we'll get our coolant reservoir. The coolant reservoir, the cap is on tight, it's properly fastened, it's at proper operating level, it's not damaged or leaking, and it's in good working condition. Then we go to our washer fluid reservoir. The cap is on tight, it's properly mounted to the truck, it's at proper operating level, it's not damaged or leaking, and it's in good working condition. Then we use this brace bar just to come across to get us over here to our radiator. The radiator itself is properly mounted, it's not damaged, broken, or leaking, it's in good working condition. Then we'll go to our upper radiator hose. It is properly fastened front and back. There's no bumps, bubbles, or abrasions. It's not leaking, and it's in good working condition. Now we're going to drop underneath our air intake to get to our oil fill cap. The oil fill cap is properly attached. It's not damaged or broken. There's no apparent leaks, and it's in good working condition. Then we'll go to our air compressor pump. The air compressor pump is gear driven. It's properly mounted to the truck, it's not damaged, broken, or leaking, and it's in good working condition. Then we're going to go to our dipstick. We will just tell him we would pull it out, clean it off, reinsert it, and check for the level for the day. Then we're going to cover all of our power steering components, one after another. We're going to start with our power steering pump. It is also gear driven. It's not damaged or broken. Is properly fastened to the truck, it's not leaking, and it's in good working condition. We'll cover all of our hoses at the same time for our power steering components. Our power steering lines, no bumps, bubbles, or abrasions, they're properly fastened, they're not leaking, and they're in good working condition. Then we'll come to our reservoir. Our power steering reservoir is at proper operating level, the cap is on tight, it's properly fastened to the truck, it's not damaged or leaking, and it's in good working condition. Then we'll come to our steering shaft. The steering shaft cannot have more than 10 degrees or 2 inches of play. It's not damaged or broken, and it's in good working condition. Then we'll go to our steering shaft U-joints, front and back. They are properly greased, they're not damaged or broken, they're in good working condition. Then we'll come down and we'll get our power steering gearbox. The power steering gearbox is properly mounted to the truck. It's not damaged or broken. It's not leaking, and it's in good working condition. So now we're going to drop in and get our frame. The frame has no illegal welds. It has no excessive holes. It's not damaged or broken. It's in good working condition. Now I'm going to drop down to get my leaf spring. The leaf spring is not separated. It's not damaged or broken. It's in good working condition. We have our front and back leaf spring hangers. The leaf spring hanger is properly mounted to the truck. It's not bent, cracked, damaged, or broken. It's in good working condition. Then I'll come in and I'll go to my U-joints. The U-joints are not loose. They're not damaged or broken. They're in good working condition. That brings me to my front steer axle. The front steer axle is not bent, cracked, damaged, or broken, and it's in good working condition. Now I'll come up to get my shock. The shock by itself is not damaged or leaking. It's not broken or damaged. It's in good working condition. It is properly mounted at top and bottom with the shock mounts. They're not damaged or broken. They're in good working condition. Now we'll come out and we'll get our 3-piece steering linkage. The 3-piece steering linkage is properly fastened with its castle nut and cotter key pins. It also is not bent, cracked, damaged, or broken, and it's in good working condition. Then we come to our tie rod. The tie rod back here is not bent, cracked, damaged, or broken. It also is fastened with castle nut and cotter key pin, and it's in good working condition. Going into the brake components, there's always going to be 4 components to the brakes. You're always going to have your air line, your brake chamber, a slack adjuster, and a push rod. So you'll take each one individually. The air line itself is no bumps, bubbles, or abrasions. It's properly fastened. It's not leaking, and it's in good working condition. The brake chamber itself is properly fastened to the truck. It's not damaged or broken. It's not leaking, and it's in good working condition. Then we go down to our slack adjuster. We tell the inspector I would pull the slack adjuster to make sure it has no more than 1 inch of slack. It also is not bent, cracked, damaged, or broken, and it's in good working condition. That brings us to the push rod. The push rod is properly greased. It's not damaged or broken, and it's in good working condition. Now we're going to dive inside to the brake components. We're going to start with our brake pad. The brake pad itself has at least a 1/4 inch of pad. There's no cracking or bluing, no grease or oil, and they're in good working condition. Then we go to our brake drum. The brake drum has no cracks, damage, or it's not broken. There's no grease or oil. It's in good working condition. The inside of the rim. Inside of the rim has no illegal welds. It's not cracked, bent, damaged, or broken. It's in good working condition. That brings us to our tire bead. The tire is properly beaded all the way around to the rim. It's in good working condition. The inner sidewall. The inner sidewall has no bumps, bubbles, or abrasions. It's not leaking, and it's in good working condition. That brings us to the top of the tire. The top of the tire has no uneven wear. There's no screws or nails, no big chunks missing out of it, and it has a minimum of 4 seconds of tread. Then that brings us to the outside of the tire. This is a virgin steer tire. It's a non-recap, and they're the same on both sides of the truck. That brings us to the sidewall again. No bumps, bubbles, or abrasions. It's not leaking, and it's in good working condition. That brings us to the bead again. The tire is properly beaded to the rim. The rim has no illegal welds. It's not bent, cracked, damaged, or broken, and it's in good working condition. The lug nuts have no rust, streaks, or shiny metal showing, indicating that they would be loose. They are in good working condition. I would remove the hubcap in order to check the hub seal to make sure that the hub seal is not leaking. And then I also would check my valve stem. The valve stem is not leaking, it's not damaged or broken, and I would check it with a DOT approved tire gauge to tire specification. We are now on the other side of the engine. You will tell the inspector that there are a few things on the other side that I need to show you. This will be the only time you come to this side of the truck. You're going to first start with your belt. The belt is not cut, frayed, or damaged. It has no more than 3/4 inch of pull, and it's in good working condition. That'll bring us to the alternator. The alternator is belt driven. It's properly fastened to the truck. It's not damaged or broken. It's in good working condition. That'll bring us to our lower radiator hose. The lower radiator hose is properly attached both sides. There's no bumps, bubbles, or abrasions. It's not leaking, and it's in good working condition. That brings us into our water pump. The water pump is gear driven. It's not cracked, bent, damaged, or broken. It's properly fastened to the truck. It's not leaking, and it's in good working condition. Those are the only 4 components you have to talk about on this side of the engine. You have your belt, your alternator, your lower radiator hose, and your water pump. Once we're finished underneath the hood, I already shut the hood. The inspector is going to be waiting for you to latch the hood, and then right from there we're going to go and actually get inside the cab, and we're going to do the brake test, the in-cab inspection, the tug test, and the roll test. So now I'm going to latch the hood on both sides, and then we're going to get in the truck and finish up the in-cab inspection before we get back out and do from the door back. So getting in the truck with 3 points of contact, the inspector's already going to be in the truck. So our first move is we're going to talk about the seat belt. It has no cut, frays, or damage. It latches and unlatches properly. And now at this point, I would ask the inspector, if he does not have a seatbelt on already, please put your seatbelt on. Then, since we are properly charged, we're above 100 psi, I'm going to go right to the brake test. So I'm going to do my 1, 2, 3, and then ALE. So my 1, 2, 3 is 1, I'm already in gear. 2, I'm going to turn my auxiliary on. 3, I'm going to release both brakes. Now I am ready for my brake test. So I'm going to start with the applied brake test. I'm going to hold the brake pedal down for 1 minute. I cannot lose more than 4 psi. If you're in another state, we are now doing the static brake test. You cannot lose more than 3 psi in 1 minute. But in Arizona, you do not have to do static. So we're moving right on to A, applied. Hold the brake pedal down for 1 minute, cannot lose more than 4 psi. So I apply the brake pedal. I will count to myself that 1 minute, and then I will release the brake. I'll tell the inspector, okay, I did not lose more than 4 psi, so I'm going to move on to L, which is my low pressure warning system. I'm going to fan the brakes down, and at 60 psi, my low light and buzzer should come on. And there we go. At 60 psi, my low light indicator and my buzzer are now activated. So that worked properly. E now, because we're doing A, L, E. E is emergency spring brake. I'm going to fan the brakes down between 20 and 45 psi. Both knobs should release. Both knobs released, so the spring brake activated properly. So now I'm going to demonstrate a safe start. I'm going to hold the clutch in, I'm going to show him I'm in neutral, and I'm just going to start the truck. Once the truck is started, show him you're in neutral, you can go ahead and release the clutch. Now it's time to do our in-cab inspection. While the air pressure is building itself back up, we're going to do the in-cab inspection. We always start low. We're going to start down on the floor. Nothing is rolling around on the floorboard that could get underneath the pedals. Then we're going to get our 3 pieces of emergency equipment. We have our fire extinguisher that is properly fastened. It's properly charged. The pin is in place and it is up to date. Underneath the passenger seat, we have our 3 emergency triangles, and in the dash, we have our 6 spare fuses. Now we're going to come up high, we're going to get our mirrors. The mirrors are not cracked, damaged, or broken. They're properly set to where I can see down both sides of the trailer, so they're properly adjusted for me. The glass is clean, clear, no cracks, no chips, and no illegal stickers. Now we're going to drop down into our gauges. We're going to talk about each gauge individually. So we have our oil pressure gauge is at proper operating level. It's in good working condition. Our water temperature gauge is at proper operating level. It's in good working condition. My RPM gauge, I will just give it some throttle to indicate that it is working properly. Our voltmeter is in the digital column right there, so we are at proper operating volts. The ABS light did come on and off when I started the truck. We will check our mile per hour once we get rolling. Our fuel gauge is operating properly. We have enough fuel for the day. Our primary and secondary air gauges are climbing. And at this time, I'm going to re-engage my trailer to supply air to the trailer. After I supply trailer to the air to the trailer, I'm going to come back and start talking about the steering wheel. The steering wheel has no more than 10 degrees of play. It's in good working condition. It's not damaged or broken. I'm going to check my city horn, my air horn, and now I'm going to go to my windshield wipers. The windshield wipers, I'm going to turn them on to make sure that they work properly. I'm going to give myself some juice to show them that the juice is flowing properly, and then I'll shut them off. Now we're going to talk about our lights. The lights are already in the on position, but now I'm going to check my high beam indicator. The high beams are working properly. I'm going to check my left turn signal, my right turn signal, and then I'm going to pull out my four-ways and I'm going to leave them on. Now I'm going to come over and check my defroster. I'm going to put it on defrost. I'm going to put my hand up here and wait for it to transition over, and the defroster is working properly. Now I'm going to come and talk about my air knobs. Each knob individually is not damaged or leaking, it's not broken, and they're in good working condition. I'm going to come down now and I'm going to get my shifter boot. The shifter boot itself is not cut or damaged. The shaft itself is not bent, cracked, damaged, or broken. And I'm going to listen now for my splitter to engage. And at this point, I'm ready for my tug test. We still have not heard the governor kick off indicating that we're at full charge. So I will now bump up my throttle to help supply air to both components until it gets to 100 psi. And I'm at 85 psi right now. And it should take no more than 1 minute to get from 85 to 100 psi. That's a point if you tell him that. So now, once I'm at 100 psi, I can go ahead and I can do my tug test. We have already released the trailer, so we are set up to do the tug on the truck. So I'm going to put it into first gear. I'm going to slowly tug the truck. That worked, so now I'll switch them. I'm going to pull out the red one. Trailer is set. Tractor is released. So now I'm going to tug the trailer. That's plenty. So now we have to do our service brake test. So I will now put it in fourth gear. I'm going to have both hands on the steering wheel. And we're going to roll forward. And then I'm going to do my service brake test. 5 miles per hour, engage the clutch, come back to the brake, hold the steering wheel lightly, and now you'll tell the inspector that it did not pull side to side. Release your brakes, set your brakes, show them you're in neutral, and you are now done with your in-cab and air brake test. So now we go out and we do from the door back. Now that we're done inside the cab of the truck, he gets you back out here and we're going to do from the door back. So we start with the door. We talk about how the door handle works properly. The door seal is in place and the hinge is not damaged or broken and the door shuts properly. Then we're going to get our mirror hanger. The mirror hanger is properly mounted, it's not damaged or broken, and it's in good working condition. Then we're going to step back and we're going to look at the tank itself. The tank itself is not damaged or broken, it is not leaking, there's no cuts, it's in good working condition. Our tank straps are both properly mounted, they're not damaged or broken, and they're in good working condition. The steps themselves are securely mounted, they're not damaged or broken, they are in good working condition. This is one of the things on the truck that you do have to touch, the fuel cap, because you will open it up and you will say that the safety chain and the rubber seal are present and they are not damaged or broken or brittle, and that the cap itself seals properly. Now we're going to come to the back of the truck. We're going to start all the way over at the exhaust. The exhaust is properly mounted. There's no soot coming out of the weld indicating a leak, and it is in good working condition. The back glass is clean, clear, and free of illegal stickers. It's in good working condition. Then I'm going to come down and I'm going to get my drive line. My drive line is not bent, cracked, damaged, or broken. It is in good working condition. I'm going to get my front and back U-joints. The front and back U-joints are properly greased. They're not damaged or broken, and they are in good working condition. Now I'm going to come out and I'm going to get my catwalk. The catwalk itself is not cracked, bent, damaged, or broken. It is properly mounted, it's secure, and it's in good working condition. Now I'm going to come to my glad hands. I would tell the inspector that I would remove these to check the inner seal to make sure that the seals are not brittle or damaged. I would also tell him I would remove my electrical cord to make sure that the prongs inside are not damaged or broken. There's no debris. Now I'm going to check my emergency and my service lines. They have no bumps, bubbles, or abrasions. There is no audible leaks from either the glad hand or the hose itself. Now I'll check my electrical line to make sure that there's no electrical cord showing and that they're all in good working condition. They all have proper clearance from the catwalk to the hoses. Once we are done back here, it is time that we have to actually come down onto our knee and look underneath here for a few minutes. We're going to start with the frame. The frame, again, has no illegal welds. It's not damaged or broken. It's in good working condition. Then we're going to cover our trailer apron. The apron itself is not bent, cracked, damaged, or broken. It's in good working condition. That brings us to our fifth wheel top plate. The top plate itself is not bent, cracked, damaged, or broken, and there is no daylight gapping between the apron and the fifth wheel top plate or skid plate. Then we're going to come down and we're going to get our fifth wheel pull pin. The pull pin is not damaged or broken. It's in the locked position and it's in good working condition. This is a non-sliding, a fixed fifth wheel. All the hardware is in place. It's not cracked, bent, damaged, or broken. It's in good working condition. Then we're going to come down here and we're going to get our rear leaf spring hanger. The rear leaf spring hanger is properly mounted. It's not damaged or broken. It's in good working condition. The rear leaf spring itself is no separation. It's not damaged or broken, and it is in good working condition. Then we're going to come in and we're going to get our brakes back here. And remember, every time it's the same four components. I'm going to start with the air line. There's no bumps, bubbles, or abrasions. It's properly fastened. It's not leaking, and it's in good working condition. Then we have our rear brake chamber. The rear brake chamber is properly fastened to the truck. It's not bent, cracked, damaged, or broken. It's not leaking, and it's in good working condition. Then I will check my slack adjuster. The slack adjuster, you would tell the inspector that I would have to release my brakes in order to check the rear slack adjuster, and it can't have more than 1 inch of pull. Then I will check my push rod. The push rod itself is properly greased. It's not damaged or broken, and it is in good working condition. Now we have to go and get all the way underneath to observe our king. Now that we're all the way underneath the truck and trailer, we're going to start with the kingpin. The kingpin is properly coupled. It's properly coupled to the kingpin. The kingpin is not damaged or broken. It's properly greased, and it's in good working condition. Then we're going to come and get our torque bar. The torque bar itself is properly fastened to the truck. It's not damaged or broken, and it is in good working condition. We have our rear differential. The rear differential is not cracked, bent, damaged, or broken. It is not leaking, and it is in good working condition. Now we'll come back out to our lights. We're going to get our lights back here, and they are always of proper color. They are not damaged or broken, and they are in good working condition. And then we're going to get our rear mud flap hanger. The mud flap hanger itself is properly attached to the truck. It's not damaged or broken. The mud flap itself has proper clearance off the ground. It's not cut, damaged, or broken, and it is in good working condition. Then we're going to come to our airbag. The airbag itself has no cuts, bubbles, or abrasions. It's not leaking, and it is properly fastened with the top and bottom plates. The airbag is in good working condition. Then from here we're going to come and we're going to get our shock. The shock itself is not bent, cracked, damaged, or broken. It is not leaking, and it's in good working condition. We have our upper and lower shock mounts. They are not bent, cracked, damaged, or broken, and they are in good working condition. Now we're going to come and we're going to get our brakes. We have to work our same brake assembly back out again. We're going to start with the brake pad. The brake pad has at least a 1/4 inch of pad. It's not cracked, damaged, or broken. There's no grease or oil, and it's in good working condition. Then we'll move on to the rim. The drum, So the drum itself, it's not cracked, bent, damaged, or broken. There's no grease or oil, and it's in good working condition. Then we come to our rim. The rim has no illegal welds. It's not damaged or broken, and it's in good working condition. That brings us to our tire bead. The rim and the tire are properly beaded. Then we come to our inner sidewall. No bumps, bubbles, or abrasions. It's not damaged or leaking. It's in good working condition. Then I'm going to go to the top of the tire. The top of the tire has at least 2 seconds of tread. There's no damage. They're not leaking, and they're in good working condition. Then I'm going to come to the outer sidewall of the inner tire. No bumps, bubbles, or abrasions. It's not damaged or leaking. It's in good working condition. We have proper clearance between both dualies. The sidewalls are not rubbing. There's no rocks or debris in between them. The two rims are properly seated together. No daylight or gapping. Before we come out from underneath the truck now, we're going to turn around and we're going to get our cross members of the trailer. Each cross member is properly attached. It's not bent, cracked, damaged, or broken, and it's in good working condition. Now we're going to come over and we're going to get our landing gear while we're under here. Our landing gear itself, all the cross braces, all the welds are good. It's not bent, cracked, damaged, or broken, and it's in good working condition. Now I'm going to get out and I'm going to finish up the tire from underneath the trailer. Now that I'm out from underneath the trailer, we're going to go ahead and we're going to cover the inner sidewall of the outer tire. The sidewall has no bumps, bubbles, or abrasions. It's not leaking. It's in good working condition. The top of the tire has at least 2 seconds of tread. It has even wear, and it's in good working condition. The outer sidewall, no bumps, bubbles, or abrasions. It's not leaking, and it's in good working condition. Then we have our tire bead. It's properly beaded all the way around the tire and rim. We have our rim, no illegal welds, it's not bent, cracked, damaged, or broken. Then we'll go to our lug nuts. Same way, no rust streaks, no shiny metal, indicating that they would be loose. They are in good working condition. I would remove my hubcap to check my hub seal to make sure it is not leaking. My valve stem is not leaking, it's not damaged or broken, and I would check it with a DOT approved tire gauge. Now we're going to finish up our landing gear. We're going to come to our landing gear and we're going to tell him that I would check to make sure the landing gear goes up and down properly and the handle is stowed away properly. The last thing you say about that is there's proper clearance between the landing gear and the back axle. Now it's time for a general overview of the trailer. So we're going to do a general overview of the trailer. We're going to talk about all the rivets. There's no cuts or damage to the trailer itself. The DOT reflector tape is all present. It's all proper color and it's properly spaced. Now we'll work our way down and we're going to get our running light on the way by. The marker light is of proper color and it is in good working condition. Now at this point we have to get back underneath the trailer. Now that we're positioned underneath the trailer, we're going to go ahead and start up in this upper corner and we're going to start with our airbag. The airbag has no bumps, bubbles, or abrasions. It's not leaking. It is properly mounted with the upper and lower plates. The airbag is in good working condition. Our shock, our trailer shock is not damaged, broken, or leaking. It is properly mounted with the upper and lower shock mounts. The shock is in good working condition. Then we'll drop down and get our U-joints, our U-bolts. Our U-bolts are properly mounted. They're not loose, damaged, or broken, and they are properly mounted to the axle. The axle itself is not bent, cracked, damaged, or broken. It's not leaking, and it's in good working condition. Now we're back to our brakes again. Same 4 components. We start with our air line. The air line has no bumps, bubbles, or abrasions. It's properly mounted to the truck. It's not leaking, and it's in good working condition. Then we come to our brake chamber. The brake chamber itself is properly mounted to the truck. It's not damaged, broken, or leaking. It's in good working condition. We will be able to get the slack adjuster and push rod from the other side. So we will move on to this is a sliding tandem axle. It is in a locked position. The pins are in place. The sliding tandem axle is in good working condition. Now we'll go back to our brakes again. So we have our brake pad, 1/4 inch of pad, not damaged, broken, or they are in good working condition. Now we have our drum again, no grease or oil. They're not damaged or broken, good working condition. Back to the rim. The rim is no illegal welds. It's not damaged or broken. It's in good working condition. Our rim and tire are properly beaded all the way around. They are in good working condition. Our sidewall has no bumps, bubbles, or abrasions. It's not leaking, and it's in good working condition. Now we'll move on to the top of the tire. The top of the tire has at least 2 30-seconds of tread. It's not wearing unevenly. There's no debris. It's in good working condition. Our inner sidewall, the sidewall itself is no bumps, bubbles, or abrasions. It's not damaged or broken. It's in good working condition. And again, back here we have proper clearance between the sidewalls. They want at least 3 inches. The 2 rims themselves have no daylight gapping. They are properly seated. There's no rocks or debris hindering the 2 dualies. Then we have our sidewall again. The sidewall, no bumps, bubbles, or abrasions. It's not leaking, good working condition. We have the top of the tire, no uneven wear, 2 30-seconds of tread. The tires are in good working condition. I will now get out and finish the tire assembly. Getting out and finishing the tire assembly. Back to the sidewall. No bumps, bubbles, or abrasions. Not damaged or leaking. Properly beaded all the way around the rim and the tire. The rim itself, no illegal welds. It's not damaged or broken. Our lug nuts, no rust streaks or shiny metal showing, indicating they be loose. Our hub seal is properly sealed. This one has a visual to where you can see that you're at the proper level. And then we're going to go to our valve stem. In our valve stem, we would check it with a DOT-proof tire gauge. It's not damaged, broken, or leaking. Then all you tell him about this next axle is, I would do the same with this axle, and then you move on. And we come down and we get our rear mud flap hanger. The hanger itself is properly mounted to the truck. It's not damaged or broken. Then we go to our mud flap itself. It has proper clearance. It's not cut, damaged, or broken. We're going to go ahead and we're going to get our marker light on our way by. The marker light is of proper color. This is a non-ABS trailer. It's older than 97, so it's exempt. So this has no ABS light. This is a marker light. Now we're going to come to a general view of the back of the trailer. Once you get to the back of the trailer, we're going to talk about the seal. The seal is present. It's in place. The door is latched at top and bottom, and the handle is stowed away properly. The hinges are not cracked, bent, damaged, or broken. All the hardware and cotter key pins are in place. The lights are all on. They're all of the proper color. They're not damaged or broken, and they're in good working condition. The DOT reflector tape is all the way around the trailer. It's of proper color, it's properly spaced, and it's in good working condition. We have a DOT bumper. The DOT bumper is present. It's not damaged or broken. It's in good working condition. The license plate light is on and working properly. The license plate is clean, clear, and visible. And now from back here is where we're going to look underneath the trailer, and this is where we will see our slack adjuster and push rod. So then we would continue on with our brakes, and we would say that we would release the trailer to check our brakes to make sure the slack adjuster has no more than 1 inch of pull. The push rod is not bent, cracked, damaged, or broken. The S-cam is right there. It's not damaged or broken, and it's in good working condition. At this time, if you feel you've covered everything, it's now time to tell the inspector, I am now done with my pre-trip inspection. I'm Eric Ferguson. This is Eric Ferguson CDL Training. I appreciate you watching the video. You could always reach me here at 928-379-3094. 7 days a week, here to serve you.